Times-Picayune.
Times-Picayune, absolutely.
And he's been on the show a couple of times.
He has.
And
He's also the 6-time world pun champion, which makes him a little difficult to be around sometimes because he can't quite get that out of his system.
Yeah. And he wrote a great song about Lake Pontchartrain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve's written a lot of great songs. In fact, the Limelighters just put out a live album at the end of last year that is entirely original songs, and that's the first time the trio has done that in 57 years. They've done a lot of the trio did a lot of traditional music and a lot of other people's songs, and some of the members over the years have done some writing, but this is the first time that everybody in the trio has been a very active songwriter. So.
Okay, so what do people expect from you when they see the Limelighters are coming? What do they expect?
Well, for one thing, they expect to hear some of the songs that they remember, and we certainly want to make sure that happens at every concert. And so we do a blend of songs that go way back to the beginning of the Limelighters and songs that have come in much more recently. And
can we give the folks some music? Nobody at OZ wants anything but music. and they put up with us talking about ourselves because they're nice. but let's put some music in right in the show right here.
Sure. Well, I can't do the Limelighters for you alone, so I'll do some.
You can't sing 3 notes at once?
I can't. It's strange, isn't it?
Well,
I can sometimes accomplish 2, but I'll do one of my songs that Tom Paxton and I wrote. This is off of our brand new album. In fact, it's the title track of our brand new album, and we think it says something important. It's why a teacher teaches. It's why a writer writes. Why a demonstrator goes to jail for other people's rights. Why a daddy leaves for work most days before it's even light. Why a mama stitches school clothes in the middle of the night. It matters to your spirit. It matters to your soul. It matters that we do our best to keep each other whole. Things we set in motion never stay in our control. It matters that you do the things you do. It matters that you keep on being you. It matters. The nurse who works the night shift, the policeman on the beat, the checker at the grocery with the aching back and feet. They work behind the scenes, they leave nothing incomplete. They keep on keeping on, the bugle never sounds retreat. It matters to somebody you might never even meet. Someone who wouldn't know you if they passed you on the street. But somehow you help make their lives a little more complete. It matters that you do the things you do. It matters that you keep on being you. It matters. Waste an end. Let's try that again. You never waste a random act of kindness. You don't forget the ones that you receive. The toughest foe I face is my own blindness. We all struggle sometimes. I believe it matters that you do the things you do. It matters that you keep on being you. It matters. You matter.
Daniel Boling right here live in the WWOZ studios, singing for you, playing his guitar, and telling us about the Limelighters. Now, it was a beautiful song. Thank you.
Thank you, Hazel. And I appreciate you inviting me to be here with you.
Well, we're really glad to have you. When you talked about the Limelighters at the beginning, now, what era did you say that they really...
They started in 1959.
59.
Lou Gottlieb was a musicologist. He had a doctorate in music, and he was taking old folk songs and making new arrangements of them that he hoped to market to the Kingston Trio.
I see.
And in order to do that, he needed to make demo recordings of those new arrangements, and so he found a couple other guys whose voices he liked, and they got in the studio to make some of these recordings to sell song arrangements to the Kingston Trio. They liked the way they sounded so much, they thought, we don't need the Kingston Trio, let's take this act on the road. And so they went out to the Hungry Eye in San Francisco and were an immediate hit. The only problem was they didn't have a name for the group yet. And the manager out there at the Hungry Eye said, well, what do I put on the sign? And they said, oh, just put Hasselev, Gottlieb, and Yarborough. And he said, my sign's not that big, and I don't have that many letters. What's that club a couple of you have an ownership in out in Aspen, Colorado? They said, the Limelight? Oh, yeah. He said, you're the Limelighters. And that's why it's spelled funny, Limeliters. There's no GH in it because the Limelight Lodge didn't have a GH in it.
Well, now that period of time, the Kingston Trio actually, I guess, so kind of came in before
just
the
a
Limelighters.
couple of years earlier. That's right.
Now you could go back a little further and think about the Weavers.
Oh, sure. I think about the Weavers all the time.
I do too. But in 1959, I was living here in New Orleans.
Okay.
And my parents were very concerned about McCarthyism.
As well they should have been.
And it was touch and go for the effects that McCarthyism, and people kind of are trying to forget about those times.
This is a dangerous time to forget about that time.
And I'm thinking some of the songs the Limelighters performed, or the Kingston Trio, were topical. They weren't exactly political. Well, the phone is ringing, folks. If it's for me, I'm not here.
Surprise.
Okay. So let's see. I kind of broke my train of.
You were talking about topical songs.
This call is because we got some more people downstairs who need to be let in. So maybe somebody can send a
Looks like
messenger
Larry's
to
on the
let
way.
them come up. That's Emma's Revolution. It needs to come up. Thank you, Larry. That's good. Okay, we're coming to let you in. Sorry I left the phone on, but it's a good thing because I wouldn't want to miss him on this rainy weather. I want to let him in. So you know about how we do engineering and stuff here at OZ. We do it all. We answer the door besides.
Absolutely, and thank goodness.
Okay, so we're going back to the Limelighters in this delicate discussion here about how the songs were political, but they rode this fine line trying to avoid censorship, I imagine.
They did very carefully. And
Could you just mention like maybe one or two songs that they did that, like that were...
Well, there certainly were some. I'm afraid that my early morning recall is not operating terribly well today, so I can't name them for you. But the Limelighters were particularly careful about that line. There were some other acts that came around about the same time who were much less careful, such as Peter, Paul, and Mary. And they got very direct about some of their activism in their music. And the Limelighters actually, at the time, tried to stay a little further from that line.
That was my feeling too. That's kind of my understanding too. But even like the Kingston Trio were rioting in Africa.
Sure.
Those songs in particular attracted me.
You bet.
Now I was in the 8th grade.
Okay.
But they attracted me, and I said, "Oh, what is this?" It set me on a certain road, I guess. Anyway, I just wanted to touch on that. As I say, that avoiding censorship and when to avoid it and when not to avoid it. I did get a chance to ask Pete Seeger what he thought about censorship, since he was censored and wasn't allowed to be on
He
TV
certainly
or
was.
radio.
He was blacklisted.
Yeah. And he said, I believe in censorship. He said, I believe in censoring yourself.
Uh-huh. Self-censorship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Well, let's see. Where do we want to go from here? You want to talk about Tom Paxton?
Well, I sure would love to. Tom did not make it to New Orleans this week. He was planning to come, but his daughter got ill, and he couldn't leave her there in Virginia. But Tom and I have met a few times over the years, and then in the last 3 or 4 years, we've become good friends and colleagues. We've written, 80-some songs together. And thanks to modern technology, even though he lives in Virginia and I live in New Mexico or somewhere else in the van, we can get on Zoom. And as Tom says, we're in the same room. And it does pretty much feel that way. But we've written a lot of songs, and we finally put out a couple albums together. We put out New Old Friends 3 years ago, and then we put out It Matters, the song I just sang. That album came out just late last year. And it's such an honor and privilege to get to write with somebody who has been around through it all. Tom started out in the early 60s there in Greenwich Village. He and Noel Paul Stuckey of Peter, Paul, and Mary were roommates, and they still call each other roomie. They're within a couple of months of the same age. And Tom says the only place any of them had that was big enough to rehearse in was the loft he and Noel shared. And so that's where Peter, Paul, and Mary did all their rehearsing. And he said there was also, I think upstairs in the Gaslight, I may have the venue wrong, but there was an old typewriter that Wavy Gravy had left behind. And that was where Bob Dylan would do a lot of his writing in the middle of the night. And he said he ran across Bob one morning, and Bob had like 6 sheets of typed paper that he had just pulled out of the machine, and said, "What do you think of this?" And it was a reworking of the old Lord Randall traditional song into what became A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall. And just knowing that I have continuity with that era through Tom is such an amazing thing to me as someone who grew up on folk music and fell in love with songs before I knew that people wrote songs. I thought songs just existed, you know.
I'm thinking about that space. They should rent it out to songwriters who are stuck, and the spirit is in that room must be
in those walls, I'm sure there is.
Right.
But Tom is still going strong at 88 and writing every day with someone or by himself.
Did this start with COVID? I mean, did it
Yes.
COVID? Was it?
It absolutely did. Tom had not done much co-writing, and when COVID came along and he couldn't tour, he said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to call up my friends and write songs. And he started, I think he started with John McCutcheon. Mm-hmm. And now there's half a dozen people he writes with every week if he's available. And now that he's retired from the road, he's available a lot more.
Okay, let's do some music. Do you want to do another live piece now, or did you want to?
Sure, whatever works best for you.
You brought me all these nice CDs to play too.
Yeah, you mentioned artificial intelligence when you were talking with Jennifer, and so here's a song Tom and I put together on that subject. If we let machines do our thinking for us, next they'll do our drinking for us, and they'll start writing their own songs. They'll open up that dang thesaurus and write every word of the stinking chorus. What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? It's a fine line and it's awful porous. Pretty soon they'll just ignore us, and we'll get trampled by the throng. Put their own wants and needs before us, lots of them, and soon no more us. What could possibly go wrong? They're just machines, they can't create. They shuffle and regurgitate. Trust AI and you put your fate in the hands of something with no hands. If it can go wrong, you can bet it will. It's all just great right up until the wheels come off flying down the hill and we're giving into their demands. I don't care much for what they're thinking. Feel my intellect keep shrinking. I can tell I don't belong. It's a happening and the red light's blinking. Guess it takes a while to sink in. What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? It looks like AI's taking over. We'll just be their good dog, Rover. Fetch the ball and play along. High-tech guys are in high clover. They're all dancing the bossa nova. What could possibly go wrong? They're just machines they can't create. They shuffle and regurgitate. Trust AI and you put your fate in the hands of something with no hands. If it can go wrong, you can bet it will. It's all just great right up until the wheels come off, flying down the hill and we're giving into their demands. I'm all for progress, that's for sure, but what I think I mean, you bet it's artificial. Intelligence remains to be seen. You're welcome.
I have a new, different little things I like to include in the show. When we first moved to the studio in the Jack's Brewery, and the Natchez was so close to us, the whistle, the steamboat whistle, came right through the studio and cut through everything. So I tried to include it in the show and talk a little bit about the Natchez and play a John Hartford piece to go with that, since he was a river pilot and a fiddler, dancer, singer all at one time.
Okay. Yeah, he sure was.
And then I decided I'd have a Dolly moment, and I played a lot of different Dolly Parton songs. And now I have H.I. H.I. is, well, it could be Hazel's intelligence, it could be Hazel's imagination.
Okay.
Most likely it's Hazel's ignorance.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. And today, I was just telling people that we have a big storm coming.
Mic on, Hazel.
I'll start again. Okay. I'm sorry. Let's see. Let me make sure I have all these mics on that I need. Okay. So we're talking about, we just heard a song about artificial intelligence. And this is Daniel Boling here with the Limelighters playing for you and telling us all about his experiences. So my new experience here is my feature on H.I. H.I. is, it could be Hazel's intelligence, it could be Hazel's ignorance, or it could be Hazel's imagination. But for today, we have a big winter storm headed your way. And so I like to tell the people in New Orleans to do what they do up north. And that is, before you go outside, zip up and button up your coat. Because we don't do that in New Orleans. We take the coat and we stand outside and we go, oh my God, it's freezing. I mean, but do it the other way around. Zip up your coat. Okay, now let's get back to the Limelighters and Daniel Boling, who's here in the studio.
Right. Well, you've got, I think, access to some of the tracks from the Limelighters records. We've got the old traditional material that we still do, and we've got newer stuff that we just put out on an album. In fact, some of the songs Tom and I wrote together are on that newest Limelighters album. So we've been having a lot of fun with that.
Do you want me to play one of these CDs?
Sure. Yeah. If you think the time is right, if you want something traditional from the Limelighters, you might try that one I think you've got queued up there, called Take My True Love by Her Hand.
Yes. Yeah, let's listen to that. Okay. This is from the Limelighters, The Cutting Edge of Passe.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Those of you who are sitting next to your true love, you might want to hold hands for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Times are getting hard, boys. Money's getting scarce. Times don't get no better, boys. Gonna leave this place. Take my true love by her hand. Lead her through the town. Say goodbye to everyone. Goodbye to everyone. Had a job a year ago, had a little home. Now I've got no place to go. I guess I'll have